Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this very special online event that we are having today to celebrate the one very special person within our industry. This is a live event, and we are recording this, and we'll share this broadly with the industry. So, yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. So, we'll get straight into things. So today is a very special announcement. Today we're sharing with the world someone who's profoundly changed the face of the lifting industry. Someone who's committed their life's work to bettering our industry and the communities that we serve. Not only here in Australia and our region, but someone who's changed the world for the better. Someone who took their idea and their ingenuity and turned it from something ordinary into the extraordinary. So today's celebration is someone who's committed to achieving something that no one else has. So someone who shared LEEA's vision, lifting and height safety industries that have eliminated accidents, injuries, and fatalities. Through their commitment to quality and safety and their ingenuity, it has, without doubt, enabled people to go home at night safe, knowing the products that they've used can be relied upon. This person has demonstrated an alignment to LEEA's mission, because their commitment to quality and best practice shows the path they set out to achieve through influencing, enabling best practice, both in their firm, the workshops that their people work in, and their broader community. It is demonstrated there daily. So this award was a regional council initiative. The Australian New Zealand Regional Council commenced in 2021 and is a group of people that take their time to better the industry. So this person was chosen by a group of their peers who included, at the time of voting, Steve Flint from Certex, Mark Eberhard from LiftQuip, Rhys Goldsworthy from Nobles, Navin Kumar from Certex, Rob Smith from Cooks New Zealand, Ashley Thacker from Ranger, Steve Purvis from Pacific Hoist, Adam Thompson from Stenhouse Lifting, and our chairman, Andy Campbell from Bunzl Safety. And I'd also like to thank current regional council members who have joined since this award was decided. And that's Mark Daly from Cooks New Zealand, who replaced Rob Smith, and Jeff Bauer from Andromeda, who recently joined the regional council as well. So this award was fleshed out over a number of meetings where the regional council spoke of our need to highlight our industry stalwarts. So people who've committed their life's toil to the lifting equipment industry. So we started with names of those who we knew who'd been with us for a long time, so over 30 years. But we looked further and thought who we need to honour these, how we could honour these people separately. But what about those who've gone above and beyond? So the people who have changed the industry profoundly. So to ensure the recipient was truly deserving, we looked at 4 key pillars. So someone who had been with the industry for over 35 years, someone who has committed to their community, whether that be local or beyond, someone who's, again, profoundly changed the industry through product, service, innovation, or lifting standards, and someone who's been with LEEA as a member, either worker or as the firm, for over 15 years. So these pillars shook out some incredible names, but we settled on one, and I'd now like to present our video for this person, and we'd like to congratulate them.
There's a quiet brilliance in knots. Across the centuries, they've secured and built civilizations. From the ropes of ancient sailing ships to the intricate rigging of modern engineering, knots have quietly shaped the progress of humanity, balancing simplicity with profound functionality. Is it any wonder a fascination with them became the spark of my life work? I worked in Tamworth for 17 years. I had built a house on top of the workshop and we started running out of space, so I asked a real estate friend of mine to look for a block of land. I wanted a highway site. So she found this block for me here in Moonby, and that's how we came to Moonby.
Born in Tamworth, but lived in Moonby for 21 years. It's really nice out here, it's pretty. It was great to bring up kids, lovely place.
Andromeda is the only Greek legend with a happy ending. When Achilles saves Andromeda from being taken by the sea monster, and they get married. So it's the only Greek story with a happy ending. And Annette now owns Andromeda Industries. She and Jeff will take it to big things.
Raymond's fantastic, and the fact that I can go in there and talk to Raymond at any time, and he's so giving of his time and his information and his knowledge is just next world.
I think I'm the only one that saw his legacy and see what he was trying to do with the lifting industry.
When I manufacture something, I try and make it as close to perfect as I can. I try and get as close as I can to a perfect job. And that's how we build our machines. For all the machines that Andromeda employs now, I designed virtually all of those. And I built a lot of the parts myself. And that's where my engineering comes in, to conceive of and then design and then manufacture. Going back to my early childhood, looking back now, I think I was born an engineer. I almost had a slide rule in my hand when I was born because I just naturally knew how things worked. And I could naturally do things. I built my first lever-action rifle at 15 years and a self-loading handgun.
What did your parents think about you building a handgun?
Well, those days it wasn't almost no notice taken. They weren't really aware, I suppose, of the level I was working at. But after I left school, I went straight to Newcastle and started at Stewart's and Lloyd's Tube Makers and did a mechanical engineering certificate course. Those formative years were learning about the trade work of fitting and machining work, plus the engineering behind the design of machines. While at Stewart's and Lloyd's, I met a young man called John Sundelius, and he was a keen spear fisherman. And he said, Raymond, you better come spearfishing sometime, it's great fun. So I manufactured a spear gun. I got the spear, stainless steel spear, and I got my nylon line. And I said, John, how do I attach this nylon line to this spear? He said, use a bowline. I said, well, what exactly is a bowline, John? He said, you have no idea, and you don't know what a bowline is? So I thought, well, I better start learning about knots. And that's really in many ways, how it started. So I go to Newcastle Library and I borrowed a book called Knots, Splices and Fancy Work. And it showed all the basic working knots, but at the same time it showed quite a lot of the fancy knots. And somehow or other, they just interested me. I don't know why it should be, but the knots interested me. So I got cordage and started to do fancy knots. Every industry like Stewart's and Lloyd's had their own rigging shop. They manufactured their own slings for their work. And the splicing of wire rope there, following on from the knots, the bowline, absolutely intrigued me. It just seemed to me that a splice was a magic thing. You could take a wire rope and it's more or less useless unless it's got an eye on each end of it. And here, by putting a splice in, you make this wire rope into a sling. It just seemed like magic. And not only that, that splice is totally reliable. And that sort of interested me. I was curious as to how something can be so perfect. And so for quite a time there, I'd go up to the rigging loft at lunchtime and put in some splices. And to me, it was a hobby, an interesting, fascinating thing, and a hobby. So after that, I went to Townsville. And I worked in Townsville with Evans Deakin Industries for 1 year, designing a conveyor belt system for a sugar mill. And after 1 year, I wanted to go on an adventure up Cape York. I saw an advert in the Cairns Post for wanted an engineer at Weipa to run the power station, and I got the job. And when I got to Weipa, the boss called me in and said, "Look," he said, "Raymond," he says, "so we know you employed you to run the power station, but could you drive a crane?" And I said, "Well, I'm 21 years old, of course I can drive a crane." In order to get the slings, I was supposed to ask the bosun was the manager of the store, to make slings for me for the next day. But the bosun wasn't very reliable. He used to get drunk at night time and I'd turn up with no slings. So I had to pull the wire rope down and make my own slings. That experience did two things. It showed me the whole crane and lifting gear industry, what a crane does, how they work, how valuable they are, how essential they are. And it also showed me that that sling has to be 100%, because I go and lift something off the barge, might be an aircraft engine, something worth thousands of dollars. It's suspended on one sling. That sling's got to carry it to shore. So it sort of opened my eyes to how essential these slings are. Rigging gear industry, cranes, but especially the slings. They have to be 100%. I was Weipa for 12 months. It's a 12 months contract. And so I'll have a year off. So I go back to Townsville, and the Townsville Regional Electricity Board had heard somehow that I could splice wire rope. So I get the phone call someday, "Could you make some slings for us?" So that's how the business really started. That was the first order for slings from my hobby. I mean, like, splicing was a hobby to me, it's a means to an end. And then I see, maybe there is a business to be had in this, and that's really how the business started. After that first order from Townsville Regional Electricity Board, I had other orders as well from Townsville. But then I thought maybe if I travelled around New South Wales, because Townsville was getting too hot, I could just go for a year or so and have a year off and do a bit of splicing here and there. And that's what I did. And everywhere I went, people wanted slings made. Everywhere. I'd go to Moree and, Wangara and Dubbo and Tamworth and Wagga Wagga. Everywhere, people wanted slings made. I had a splicing clamp on the back of my old Land Rover. I could do mobile splicing. And I'd pull up outside the country town, set up my tent, and go and see the local crane driver or crane operators. Next thing, there was people queuing up almost. Make me some slings. In due course, I got married at Beryl, my first wife, and I built a caravan. Really nice. And the caravan took me 3 months, and we travelled for 7 years. I do a circuit of New South Wales once every year. And so I had regular customers in each town. I'd notify them I was coming into town, and they'd have orders ready for me. And then that's more or less how the business started with that mobile. And it was a wonderful way of life. My wife loved travelling. She loved camping. We used to camp out everywhere. And it was a good way of life. But I began to see that I needed to have something more than a mobile workshop. We needed mechanisation. So hand splicing is wonderful, but it's slow. And then Tamworth was always the best spot. Tamworth was always the one that was the best work. So that's why I bought a block of land in Tamworth in 1967 and moved into Tamworth. The ferrule system was coming in at about the time I was starting this business. So they're pressed ferrules. To make slings with a pressed ferrule rather than splicing, much faster. So I built the first press in 1967, then another one about 3 years later, I built a 250-ton press because I'm an engineer and I could design machines. This is how I could make my own tools and design and build my own machines. And that started me on the manufacture of things at scale. I had a suggestion from Mr. McNichols in Wagga Wagga around about 1965. You're making great slings, Raymond, he said, but could you can make slings more flexible. They're a bit stiff. So I thought, there, in my book of knotwork, my knot book, it had a few plats and braids. I eventually came up with 4x3 Sinet, the one we use. That's a plaited cable made of small wire rope plaited into a bigger wire rope. And it achieved a flexible sling. And that's how that next step from wire rope to Superflex cable came about. So we had made hundreds of slings by hand, but there's no future in making slings by hand. It takes too long. I could see I needed a machine. I had to start to design and manufacture a machine that can make spools of plaited cable. And that was a very big job. That took 10 years of my life.
I think Raymond's very much a visionary with the products and that he has created over the years, and for what he's done with the development of Superflex cable, which is the only cable of its kind in the world. Our steel flat woven slings, the only ones of its kind. The fact that we now make the largest cable in Australia, and the machinery that has gone in to build all of that is a true testament to the man.
Raymond doesn't recognise how important he is and what he's done for the community, the lifting industry, the world. He really doesn't.
He's been a very long-standing community ambassador, always giving back to the community. It's, the art precinct.
The local school, the local museum, the local shop.
In Bicentennial Gardens.
Townsville Bushwalking Club.
Katingal Moombi Football Club.
Re-establishing the native flora and fauna.
With the Newcastle Bushwalking Club.
We open it up a lot to schools.
Engineering students from the high schools in Year 12 come out once a year just to have a look. The schools love it.
He opens up the factory floor for the local men's group, making sure that we are opened up, making sure that everything's set up.
All the Rotary clubs and the Astronomy Club.
With the Astronomy Club.
Tamworth Regional Astronomy Club. That I've been a member of that a long time. I'm actually the patron of the Tamworth Regional Astronomy Club. So it's a great honour to be a patron. Presently designing some stuff for the group who are restoring a big camera, a real big camera.
We're very proud. Yeah, it's a proud feeling. It's good to know that you're helping out the community and just giving back. It's really good.
Raymond's been instrumental in the lifting industry within Australia. Raymond was part of the Australian standards way back when, in regards to the wire ropes and things like that. And you'll see the plaited wire rope, or the, braided cables and things like that, part of the Australian standards.
There was a board convened called the ME25 group, convened by Jeff Rogers of Nobles and some other luminaries in the industry to upgrade the standards for slings, rigging gear, from the old English standard, which 166, to an Australian standard. And so I was on a board that worked on that. We had to have meetings every couple of months for a couple of years. And that was interesting stuff to sort of like put down on paper new ideas, new things for slings and rigging gear. A great honour to be involved with that. And I haven't forgotten it. The legacy of that is that we're still using their documentation.
Raymond's impact goes well beyond the engineering side. His commitment to, raising standards is exactly what LEEA is trying to do. The rising tide lifts all boats, and Raymond is already on the high tide, right? So if we can take a little bit out of his learnings and his knowledge and his commitment to the industry and the commitment to his community. That's something that we can all benefit from. He's just a shining light.
LEEA is the epitome of the lifting and rigging industry.
So one of the honours of my life is to be becoming a LEEA member. To become a member of LEEA, I was invited by one of our customers. So gradually I took notice and we joined.
LEEA has these high standards that everybody needs to be striving for, basically, and it's internationally recognised. So we can go to events like at AWARF in the US, LEEA supported. LiftCon and LiftX in Australia and the UK, it's all LEEA supported, and it's the number one in the lifting and rigging community. So for us to be part of that and continually strive for perfection and industry standards, I think it's critical to be part of LEEA, and Raymond being part of it for such a long time is once again testament to he understanding the need for quality and performance and having that standard.
When you're invited to join these things, it shows that you've got credentials and you're worthwhile. And that's a great thing. I guess it's basically, I like to be able to sleep at night. My company over the years has made thousands upon thousands of these slings. They're all over the place. They're all lifting everything. I don't get a phone call like along the lines of saying, hey, Raymond, one of your slings has failed and we just dropped a $10 million job into the bottom of the ocean. I know how to get that sort of phone calls. So it's in a way maintaining standards and maintaining quality, knowing that we're doing a good job and knowing that people can rely on this.
Raymond is exemplary in his commitment to precision, care, safety, ingenuity. He just makes everyone around him better, makes the industry better, makes the industry safer. He's just who we want to have as a LEEA legend.
He feels more like family than just a friend, if that makes sense.
Or just a boss.
Or just a boss, yeah. I just appreciate all the support that Raymond's given me over the years. I'm lucky, very lucky person. That's what I feel.
Raymond has been an inspiration to myself within the lifting industry. The knowledge that he imparts and the fact that he can sit down and give me time and to try to pick what's in his brain is been fantastic, and I can't thank him enough.
He needs things to do. He's that type of person. Raymond needs to be busy. His brain needs to be active. His body needs to be active. Otherwise, yeah, he just will shut down.
I have a philosophy. We're not here just to be entertained and to do sport and have fancy food and live luxuriously. We're here to get things done. We're here to find out things, that natural curiosity that humans have had forever. To use that curiosity to make things better, to improve things. And that's one of my major points of life. We're here to get things done. I have to quote Odysseus before his last voyage. He said, "Old age has his honour and his toil, yet something ere the end, some work of noble note may still be done." So even at 86, I'm not finished.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for that. And obviously would like to officially announce Raymond McLaren, everybody. So I'm not sure if you can unmute yourselves at this point in time, but we are super excited to announce that Raymond McLaren, obviously the inaugural winner. So I would like to bring Raymond to the fore, and hopefully everyone can see. Just raise your hand, Raymond, if you can see me. I'm just going to unmute you if I can find the button. How's that? Clearly, we're having some technical difficulties here. I'll stop sharing my page, and
There we go now.
there we go. Okay, let's. Can everyone see Raymond?
Yep.
Thanks, Tony.
Yep.
Raymond, congratulations. I'm very excited to announce. Obviously, you're the winner. And mate, I just wanted to say, do you have any words? And apologies actually to everyone else. We had some technical difficulties getting the star online. So whilst we were watching the video, we did have some technical dramas at the Andromeda side. So that was my apologies to you, Raymond. But mate, congratulations. This is something I'd love you to speak about.
Well, Justin, it's hard to know what to say. Really, I'm blown away by this presentation. I'm just astounded that
mate,
you guys have dug up what I've done over the years. It's really amazing.
Absolutely. Look, mate, tell us, through the video packages, we sort of we heard some of your life story. I know that you didn't hear all of it, but we'll come back to you and we can watch it again later. You took the book from Newcastle Library way back all those years ago. How long did you have that book, and what did you take out of that, the knot tying book from Newcastle Library, knots and fancy work, I think it was called, but yeah, tell us about that.
Well, Justin, in 1957, I borrowed a book from Newcastle Library, and from that book, I learnt the basics of fancy knotting and a little bit of braiding. And from other books along those lines, I learnt the braiding needed to do this job. But about the book, I had it for 53 years. And in 2010, I decided I better return this book. Right. So I rang the library and said, look, I've got a confession to make here. I borrowed a book in 1957. Must be due a bit of a fine. And so we worked out at 1 or 2 cents a day, it's $5,000.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
but it went to a good cause. Obviously, the community library would have been thankful for that. So in terms of anyone that's been out to your site, and I think anyone that saw the video, the weaving machine and the way that you've developed Superflex and the device that actually manufactures the cable. Obviously, the inspiration was from the knotting. How did you come up with that as the the flexibility required to make that cable?
Well, interesting question, but basically I had a customer in Wagga Wagga, a bloke called McNichol, and he used to buy wire wrap things off me. And one day he said, could you make these things more flexible? And so I put my mind to it, thinking about how we could braid these things or plait them or something like out of smaller cables. And that's how it all started. So then I did some research work and picked on the 4x3 Synnet, which we're using now, for the basic concept for the cable. I did some testing on it, made some experimental things like that. And so that's how it all started. And the choice of the 4x3 Synnet was very fortuitous. It turned out later on, because once I built a machine to do 4x3, that's all it can do. It can't do anything else.
Mm.
And so, but the 4x3 turned out to be a good one for the whole project, because it can be spliced, it can be bifurcated. Turned out later to be bifurcation was a very useful attribute of this cable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically how it started. A comment from a customer: can't you make more flexible things?
Look, and thank goodness he asked that question. So the engineering behind that, again, we look at some of the things that you said in the film was, you started out as a sort of a junior engineer by building a handgun, which at the time would have been not worried about by parents. But you've built some incredible incredible devices, and how did you come up with the engineering as such for the weaving device? Is it just something that you thought through?
Yeah, well, I'm basically an engineer. I was born an engineer, I think, because by the time I was 15, I worked out the mechanism for a lever action repeating rifle, and I'd made one. And so I was able to conceptualize mechanisms. And my engineering studies at Newcastle University College there, I learnt the principles of mechanical engineering. It was a very good course. It was a 4-year course. I did 4 nights a week for 4 years at the university there, University College Newcastle. Laid the foundations for my engineering know-how. And the plating machine took me 3 years to conceive the actual design of it, or the actual concept. 2 or 3 years to design it, another 4 years to manufacture the machine itself. So it took me 10 years. And in some ways, I've been cursed in a way, Justin, that I can conceive things and design them, but then cursingly, I can actually manufacture them. And in a way, that makes it takes a lot longer.
Yeah. Well,
I could design stuff and hand it over, then it'd be much faster.
Yeah, indeed. One of the key pillars of this award was finding out about you and hearing from different people in the community around all the things that you do outside your time. So you've come up with some amazing products, and you've got new things happening actually as we speak. But your commitment to the community is something that's phenomenal as well. And as the patron of the Tamworth Regional Astronomy Club, what was that like? How did you become the patron, and what are you doing with them as we speak?
Well, I was always interested in astronomy, and then but I named my company Andromeda because it's the nearest galactic neighbour. So that was a sort of an interest in astronomy way back. But then the astronomy club stuff interested me for a long time. And I got to know some of the people in the club, Phil Betts and Gary Copper and a few others in the club. I provided some useful services for the club. We had to rebuild a very large camera weighing 7 tons. And we did it here at Andromeda. And I was able to make some useful parts for it, like the focuser and that sort of stuff. And then provided got the equipment delivered as well, provided some useful services. And in return for that, they may be the patron of the club.
There you go. Fantastic. Well, mate, I think one of the things that I reflect on, which was really phenomenal, was I met you first at LiftX in the UK in 2019. And you were then traveling off to France to go to ITER, the International Thermonuclear Experimental Research Facility. And then when I came to Moonbi, I remember seeing the tokamak that you had in the front office. Your passion for engineering and your passion for new ideas sort of flows through. What's the sort of the most, what's the right word? Important thing that you think about, for life in general now? You mentioned at the end, you're at a ripe age, you're still thinking, you're very active. What some of the things or some advice you can give to young people or people that are watching this that can take inspiration from you?
Well, I think the main thing is to not lose that natural characteristic of curiosity. We're all born with it. It should be born with a characteristic of curiosity. And I think one of the main things in life is not to lose that curiosity and sense of wonder of the world. Really, to me, that's one of the main drivers. And in later years, I've taken an interest in energy. I'm interested in energy. I've studied energy in some detail for the last 40 years, applying engineering principles and my little bit of scientific know-how to the world of energy in our world at the moment. So that's what interests me most right now.
Yep, fantastic. And in terms of a piece of advice for young people coming into the lifting industry, you know, what the thinking of having this Lifting Legend Award was so that people that are coming into the industry, you know, the people that are working with you now and are watching this today can look up to you and say, this person's committed his life to the lifting industry. How can we replicate him? What's some advice that you might give to younger people?
I think one of the things that I would look at would be with that sense of quality. The rigging gear industry is basically based on quality and integrity. And every single component of a rigging assembly, especially the slings, they have to be such high quality that they're totally reliable. They have to be totally dependable. Every termination in a sling, millions of dollars depend on some of those terminations at times, and so they have to be absolutely reliable. So it's basically quality, the sense of quality and integrity of products, and also the people involved in manufacturing these things.
Mm-hmm.
You need people of quality integrity to do that properly, that they always get everything right.
Yeah,
I guess that would be one of the things that I would look at anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We are in a high risk environment constantly. This is something that makes perfect sense to us, and we thank you for, you know, sharing our vision in making sure things are of high quality. You know, people get home safely at night, and ensure our industry is top notch. But Raymond, again, this is kind of your moment. And if there's any, you know, final words you'd like to say to us here today, I'll hand you the floor.
Well, I guess all I can say really is that I've thoroughly enjoyed my journey in this industry. I've enjoying my capabilities, engineering capabilities, and conceptual inventing capabilities to do this. And I guess I hope it carries on. And I think with the company in the hands of Annette Williams here, I think it will carry on and do greater things. We still have plans. I'm still employed by the company at a part-time basis. So we're hoping that Andromeda continues into the world.
Absolutely. No, Raymond, thank you so much. And I know Annette, thank you so much. I know you're behind the scenes there. But Raymond, you are a LEEA lifting legend by every word, and we really appreciate you and thank you. And we from the regional council, LEEA collectively, and the industry, we want to salute you today. So, Raymond McLaren, thank you so much. This has been a fantastic opportunity to celebrate your career and your commitment to the industry and commitment to quality and safety. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being online today. We really appreciate the support that we've had for this, and we'll wrap up this afternoon and thank everyone so much for being a part of the inaugural LEEA Lifting Legend Award. And thanks so much, everyone. We really appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Justin.
Thank you. Congratulations, Raymond. Thanks, Justin.
Yes, thanks, everyone. And again, if you have kind words, please put them in the chat for later, and we'll share them with Raymond as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.